Hey, are you too padhaku like us who loves to learn new things and gain knowledge? Then this is the right source for you. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to never miss out on any update and like and share our content with your friends.
Yeah, so my name is Astha and I am currently working as an SDE at Flipkart. Prior to this, I also worked at Barclays and I've been a Microsoft Engage mentee as well. So today we'll be talking about the resumes and how Gen AI is actually taking over the industry, and we'll be talking about a lot of things. So yeah, let me share my screen first and let me know if you are able to see it. Just give me a minute. I hope my screen is visible. So that is a quick introduction about myself, that I have previously done my internships at two of the companies from which I received the PPO. And then I worked at Barclays, which is an investment banking firm. And currently I am working at Flipkart. So you all must be knowing about it, right? So moving ahead with the session. So we'll be talking about revamping your resume. If you have not already made your resume, then we'll be making one today. And we'll be looking at hacks like how you can stand out in the job market. Because recently I've switched my job, so I have a decent idea like how to make a resume and how to like uh, like incorporate things which recruiter actually looks for. So yeah, and we'll be talking a lot about Gen AI. So yeah, moving ahead. So tell me, how many of you have applied to any job till now? It may not be related to SD, it can be non-tech, it can be related to sales, marketing, etc. So tell me in the chat box, because I want to know you more. So it will give me a great idea if I can get to know more about all of you guys before starting the actual thing. So yeah, please be a little bit interactive in the chat box. It will be very amazing because as we all know that very first step is always and always resume screening. So if you clear all your doubts today, then I hope you will not be facing any rejection, at least in the first step, which is actually the resume screening when HR looks for it. And yeah, very thrilled to have all of you in the session. Please be in the session till last. You will for sure gain a lot of knowledge. I've mentored a lot of students. I've taken one-on-one resume sessions of a lot of students, and yeah, webinars as well. So yeah, I have a decent idea like what mistakes usually people do. So yeah, we'll talk about that in the whole session today. So yeah, a lot of people have applied to many jobs. Yeah. So what do you think that what issue are you getting? Like after you are applying, is your resume not good? Are your skill sets not matching? So what is the issue which actually you think is coming? Like what is the hurdle which is coming between you and the job? That is also something we'll do a little introspection so that after getting to know that what actually the issue is, we'll rectify it. Right. So Kinjal is already saying that it is not ATS friendly. So right, Kinjal, we'll talk about ATS friendly resume today, like how to make it ATS friendly. Right. Resume keywords issue, recession. So yeah, all of the issues are actually valid ones and everyone is facing it nowadays. So yeah, we'll talk about it today. Now, tell me how many of you have made a resume yet? So already those who have applied to job have already made a resume. But even if you have not applied to any job, then from all of you, how many of you have at least tried to make a resume? It might not be complete, even if it is like in progress, you can write a yes or no. Right, right. So even if you have not make, no worries. We'll be making a resume today, and I'll be showing you my resume also, which I used to switch my job to Flipkart. And in the process, I've given interviews of all the big MNCs which you can name. So yeah, it has been selected mostly everywhere. So that is something that I have incorporated stuff in my resume that you can also do for yourself. So yeah, going ahead with the session. So as we know now that a lot of you have applied to many jobs and you have also made your resume, some of you. So the main issues which are coming in recession. So firstly, that is something we cannot do anything about, because if you are having good skills, if you are having good projects, and if you have a good resume, then I'm sure you won't face issue regarding that. Second is ATS friendly. So that is something we can actually incorporate good stuff and make changes. And third is resume keywords. So that also I'll be talking about today. Now moving on to the job perks. The main reason why we want to apply to these companies is lots of money, because they pay us very good. So that is the first reason. Second, working with amazing people. Third is having good work-life balance and having good benefits. So these are the main reasons why we actually want to apply to the job. So now let's talk about the recruitment process. So every company is having the very first round as resume screening, right? Apart from that, the other rounds happen, but the very first step is always and always resume screening. So let's talk about it. As we know, so tell me in the chat box how many of you are freshers and how many of you are already doing some job. Uh, like there's something. Okay. Okay, so a lot of you are already a fresher. So as we know that there are two kinds of resume mainly, one is for fresher and one is for experience. For fresher people, we do not need to incorporate experience section in resume, which we will see now. Whereas for experienced people, we actually incorporate it. So that is the main difference. And yeah, a lot of talks has been done. Now let's move on to the main thing, which is the resume sections. We can talk about resume and CV difference also. That is also a basic which you should know. So a resume is a concise document which contains your education details, your background, your skills, which actually HR requires to basically screen you. And if you match all the criteria, then it is moved on to the interview process. So it is mainly of a single page. It is used to apply for jobs. Whereas CV is of multiple pages. It is mainly used for academic purposes. And yeah, this is the main difference. Now let's talk about the resume. So you can have a look at it. This is mostly similar to my resume, which I used to apply to Flipkart. Some of the working details are not mentioned here, which we'll talk about because that is not allowed by the company. But yeah, let's talk about the resume now. So as you all can see that this is a very plain single page in which I have put all my information into, which is always required that you should always having a single page, not more than that. And the resume should be black and white, no colors should be there. So this is something which we people do. For example, if you apply for something like fashion designing or maybe interior designing, then the resumes are more of creative and fancy and colorful. But in our field, it is not like that. It should be plain and simple. And that's how companies like it. That's how ATS, uh, like that's how we get through ATS. Those who don't know about ATS, it's fine. We'll talk about it. Firstly, let's talk about all the sections and subsections. Actually, this is not the Oxford format. This is Abbey resume template, but that's fine. If other people are using it, that's totally fine. But the main thing is not the template. The main thing is details. Template also matters a lot, but सबसे ज़्यादा जो matter करता है, that is the details inside the resume. So today we'll talk about details, and then I'll show you my ATS score also, and then we can check together your ATS score also. So yeah, in my college as well, a lot of people use this template only because this is the best and that's why everyone uses it. But only a few people's resume were selected for a particular interview and I was one of them. So let me firstly tell you like what are those details, and you can see also that there are multiple sections and subsections. The very first section of your resume is your introduction. So introduction section contains your LinkedIn ID, your GitHub ID, your email and your contact number. This is the very basic section which each and every one of you should be having. I hope no one is having any doubt in this. We'll move on to the second section, which I don't have in my resume because I am already experienced and I was having a lot of things to put. So that is why if you're a fresher, you can put that section. That is this section, professional summary. So professional summary is something which we put to explain explain about ourselves to the recruiter or to the company mainly. In this, we usually explain what we have done and what we are looking for into a job. So just give it a read. Like for example, as a recent graduate, I am reading it out what is there in front of the screen. I am a driven Java developer with deep love for coding and talent for solving complex problems. Through my academic projects, I've gained practical experience and honed my skills in this and that. So this is an example of how you should be writing about yourself. So the main agenda of ours is to not keep white spaces in the resume. We'll incorporate such things, for example, professional summary and few last sections, so that if we don't have much to put in the resume, we should not be having at least a blank resume. So that is the main idea. For the session recording, I guess you all will be provided. I'll talk to Shivam regarding this. Yeah. So second section also is professional summary. You can just give it a read once more. So that is just about yourself and nothing else. So is anyone having any doubt in first two section? If yes, please write in the chat box. If you think I'm going a little bit fast, I can go slow. It's totally fine. If you think that I should pace up, then you can also tell that in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to take questions, suggestions from all of you, because this session is for you guys and I want you to make the most of it. So yeah. If you have any doubt regarding anything, please write in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to answer anything. So let's move on to the third section accordingly, which is the education section. So education section mostly contains your education details. It can be college details and you can also put your 10th and 12th details. I've only put my 12th. So, and along with my college details. So it usually has your college name, your degree, your year of graduation and your CGPA. So try to put CGPA only if it is above 7, because we always try to put our best impression forward, right? So if something is not up to the mark, then it's better not to mention it in the resume. It's totally fine if you skip it. And yeah, it is again up to you to put it or not. But main things which should be there are college name, your degree name. Degree can be anything, whatever you have pursued, your year of graduation. These are the things that are must to put in a resume. Is anyone having any doubt in these sections, the introduction section and the education section? If yes, then please write a yes or no or a question in the chat box. Okay, great, great, great. So yeah, let's move on to the next section, which is experience section. That is mainly, okay, so picture is something that is not required in a resume. If some companies explicitly asking you for a picture, then you should mention it, otherwise no. You should only put your photo in a resume if it is asked. Otherwise it is a no because ATS doesn't recognizes it. So that is the main reason. Is anyone having any other doubt? Okay, I'll share the template link as well. If it is below 7, then do not put it. It's totally fine. Okay. So the next section is your experience section. So experience section contains your company name, your designation in the company, the duration in which you have worked in that company, along with some details about your work experience. That's it. So in the work experience detail, for example, if you have solved some bug or if you have made some amazing application, then that is something you can put in the experience section. So experience section should always contain numbers more. For example, I have put that it has reduced the man hours up to 4 hours per something. So you might not get the exact project, but you should always put numbers in the work experience and in general in the resume. We'll see in the ATS score that how numbers are very, very important when we talk about experiences. Right. So if you don't have any experience, then it's totally fine. Do not put this section. So ATS, just giving a brief idea now. So a lot of people send their resumes to a company. So the HR cannot screen it manually one by one. So that is why there is a system called automatic tele. Yeah. Yeah. So that is why ATS is there. So like all the resumes go through ATS, and only the ones which are accordingly suitable for the job description, those are scanned through, and only those people get the interviews. So that is why ATS is very important. ATS is applicant tracking system. So actually, so the question from Yash side is that, is it a myth that ATS doesn't scan the resume which are partitioned from middle? So Yash, I've tried both the resumes, the one which I am having currently in my screen right now, and the one which was partitioned from the middle, that was a different resume. So I found that the score of this resume was 93 and the score of the other resume was 85 something, and the content was almost same. So I think that is something that one block resumes get good scores. So internships always considered as work experience. So as you can see, I've done 2 internships during my college time. So that one is in Bajaj and one is in Barclays. I've mentioned both of them in my experience section. So yeah, always and always mention your internships in place of experience or along with the experience. That is totally fine. So yes, I've already told the difference between CV and resume. If we'll have time, I'll mention it again. Yeah, sure. I'll share the resume for fresher as well. Okay. So now moving on to the sections again. So for I've already discussed about the experience section. Now let's move to the very important section, project and skills. That is very important for fresher. So we'll talk about it in a minute, and till then you can put your doubt in the chat box again. So if you have completed some certification programs, then you can put it as a last section. We'll talk about that also. Yeah, cover letter is totally different from resume. If we will have time, then we'll discuss about cover letter as well. So now moving on to the very, very important section, everyone please focus, that is the project section. So project section usually contains your project name, your project tech stack, 3 to 4 lines about the project, the duration in which you have made that project. And this project name is not just a name, it is a link actually, I'll show you. So if we'll click it, it will open a link this way. So this is the GitHub link. And yeah, so this is the GitHub link, and just a second. And if I try opening this, so this one is also a link that will redirect me to my other project. So here we can see that just a second, let it load. So yeah, the project names should be always a hyperlink that may contain the GitHub link or that may contain the deployed project of yours. So the site is loading. Till then, I'll talk about the projects more. So in this, as most of you should know about GitHub already. If not, then it's totally fine. Just go to YouTube and learn a little bit about GitHub. And how do we upload our project's code in the GitHub? So that I've done there. So let me show you. So this is the website which I have made for my college. This is the GitHub link. In this, I've uploaded my project's code. So as you can see that I've uploaded a lot of things along with the screenshots and details about the project. So that is something you can also do. And it is a good GitHub profile, attracts a lot of recruiters. So that is also something that is there. So always and always the project descript, like 3 to 4 lines about the project. The first line should be about like what the project actually is. And second and third line should be about the features of the project. So is everyone clear with this? can we sometimes clone some projects and understand? Yeah, a lot of people do it. So if you also want to do it, it's totally fine. But it is always good to make your own projects that gives a bit of edge. But yeah, that is totally fine. Yeah, Latika. So yeah, we'll discuss. We are that's what we are discussing, that how to optimize your resume score by putting all of those things. So always put numbers as well in your project's description as well. For example, I've mentioned this 500, 100, 3. So that actually tells that I've done something which was measurable achievement. So that is also important. Is anyone having any doubt in the project section? Okay, if not, then we can move on to the skill section now. So skill section mainly contains the details which you already know, for example, some programming languages and the tools and coursework which you have done in your college. So I'll show where skill section come into play actually. So as you can see that if we'll see any job description, for example, let's open this job description. So in this, they have already told the skills which are required, for example, C++, C#. So if you also have these skills in your resume, then it obviously gives you an edge, actually a lot of edge. So even if a recruiter scans your resume, then it is always good if you always and always put your skills according to the job description. So here we can see that I have C++ and SQL as well in my resume. So that there are greater chances that my resume will be selected for a particular job which of the job description is matching to my resume. Is everyone clear with this? Right. So now we can move on to the next section. That is the last section. It can be anything. It can be certification. It can be hackathons, achievements, or if you have done some open source contribution, if you have participated in some hackathons, that can be literally anything and everything. So firstly, we are talking about resume, then we'll talk about Gen AI and how you can incorporate it. So I'm just telling all the sections and subsections firstly. So yeah, we'll go in a proper flow so that there is no confusion in between. So at last, you can mention your achievements, your certifications. For example, if you were a head girl or a club member, anything that comes in position of responsibility. So you can mention that also. So these were mostly the sections of a resume. Now, I'll send you a website link. So this is a template which I have used. So I'm also sharing that in the chat box. So please everyone go to this website, take 5 minutes and go, just sign up and log in. In between, I'll review some of the doubts of yours. Is like try to mention only those skills which you are good about, because yeah, only the proficient ones, not every, resume because the interviewer asks about your skills. So that is why do not mention anything and everything. Know only the ones which you mention, only the ones which you know about. Guys, please do not do anything with the screen if it's possible, because it's a little bit difficult if you take over the screen and do not write anything. Right. So I've mentioned a resume template link. I'm sending it again. So just everyone go to this website and sign in. Yeah, interviewer obviously grills on the skills. If you want, you can mention your JE rank as well. Try to mention your coding profiles, your GitHub, your LinkedIn, a lot of things. Yeah, certifications also. So, firstly, so the doubt from one of you is like, how can we select good projects for putting in a resume? So try to understand the niche of yours, like what exactly you want to do. So, for example, if I'm interested in backend, then I'll look for Java backend projects. So, if I have less time, then maybe I'll just go to the GitHub and search for some projects which go into, and then I'll try to implement it myself. So that is something you can also do. Go to YouTube, go to GitHub, and try to implement your own ideas as well. So that is something you can do. If interested in PM, You don't need to explore everything. For example, if you want a job as a software developer, then main things are coding, data structure algorithms, some good projects, and that is it. You do not need to do anything and everything, because whenever you will interview for any company, you will be grilled on data structure algorithms and your projects. Nothing else matters. Because for example, if I'm suppose working on my company in any tech stack, then I have not done previously the same. I'm just learning that and I'm doing that. So main thing is DSA and projects. That is it. Guys, in between, please put your doubts in the chat box. Yeah, right. If you are interested in product roles, no, DSA is not compulsory for an ML engineer. So that depends, because mostly roles we see are software roles. So that is why DSA is very important. But if you give in, except for startups, every company looks for DSA. So startups, there are particular roles which are related to like cyber security and ML, etc. So in that you might get an edge, but those roles are very less. And yeah, if you want to get into at least a big MNC or product based companies, then I'm particularly talking about that. I'm not considering the scene of startups here. Is it a good idea to make Notion portfolio? Yeah, definitely. So good project ideas for data science. Yeah, some startups do very good money, but yeah, not all. Mostly MNCs and PBCs is what I've seen giving a very good money. I don't think so that a very experienced data scientist interview question that doesn't covers DSA. As far as I know, that mainly covers the domain knowledge. Non-IT domain to shifting tech. So mainly you need to learn data structure algorithms and projects, good projects, and the skills according to the job description of a software engineer. So has everyone done with the sign up of this link which I've sent? We can start making a template. So I might have missed few doubts. I'm sorry for that. Can you please put it again? So if everyone has logged in and sign up, can you please click on open as template? For coding round, do they ask DSA concepts to implement in the coding? So if the interview is related to data science, then no. Other things are also asked apart from DSA. But if it is related to a software developer, then yeah, data structures is asked. Yeah, has everyone signed up? I'm giving 2 more minutes. Please, everyone sign up and log in. Right, the template of the apart from template, the content should be according to the job role. So, for example, if you are applying for a front end role, then it should be related to front end. If you're applying for a back end role, then it should be related to back end. No, for overleaf, you do not need to learn latex. So yeah, let me start. If you have signed up, then great. If not, then you can just revisit the session. So on the left hand side, there's this latex language. On the right hand side, we have the compiled code. So you do not need to learn latex. It is very similar to English. So I'll show you how to edit it. Exactly. There's no need to learn latex. So for example, if I click on this your name, then I'll be redirected here. Just you need to click on this your name stuff. And if you redirected here, then you just need to change your name to your actual name. It is so simple, like literally so simple. Just 3, 4 hit and trials and you are good to go. So see, I've just changed my name here and it is changed here also. For example, if I click on the city, then I'm redirected here. I'll just change the city to Bangalore, and the state you can similarly change. So if I'll recompile, then my city and state are also here. So similar to this, you can change anything and everything. Let me show how to edit it. So for example, if you have not done any internship, then just go to the internship section, just click on it and remove it, do a cut, and then see. Now there's no internship section, right? So if you want to add a section, before that, let me show you how to add your LinkedIn link in this. So for example, this is my LinkedIn link. I'll share in the chat box also. We can connect definitely on LinkedIn. You guys can share, you guys can send a request. Right. So now I want to put it in a resume, right? My LinkedIn link. So here there's an option to put your LinkedIn ID as well. So I'll just go here. I'll just click on the name again. I'll just go here. You can put your LinkedIn ID here. HREF is a tag that is for link. So HREF ke andar whatever you write, that becomes a link. You can put your ID here. So for me, it's my name. So you can, that ID can be anything, but the link should be the actual link. So for example, here, if I click on this and I'm redirected now to my LinkedIn. So that is how you can also do it. You can also take a word resume, that's totally fine, but ATS is something that is actually very good. Like this latex one gives a very good ATS score, that is why I'm using it. So now, for example, I want to add a section, right? So I'll just copy the certification section. I'll put it in the last, and I'll just add blank spaces at last some. And then I'll just try to use it like head girl of school. You can put anything here, for example, club member of college. So that totally depends on you. If we'll do recompile it. Exactly. So Word is not ATS friendly. This is the best resume which you guys can actually found. There can be more templates, but this is actually one of them. So this way you can add a section. So you can change the section name to position. So if I'll recompile it, now see, there I have added one more section. Similarly, if I want to add a project link, so I'll just go to the project section. I'll change the project name here. So my project name is Engage Hub. I'll take the link from GitHub and I'll just paste this in href tag. And if I'll recompile it again, you might find it a little bit difficult now, but if you'll do it like 3 to 4 times, you'll be good to go. So if I click on this, I'm again redirected to my GitHub. So I hope everyone understood this part particularly. So if you have any doubt, you can just rewatch the recording. And yeah, you can ask me at the last if you have any specific doubt, then we can discuss that again. So for now, Shikha will be explaining you some things about Gen AI, firstly for like 10 minutes, and then I dive deep into like how to actually check your ATS score, and then how companies are using Gen AI, how you can put Gen AI projects, and what project I have made, because I have recently won a hackathon at Flipkart, which was based on Gen AI. So yeah, I'll talk about that also. So for now, like the first project of mine is the Engage Hub that I made during my Microsoft Engage journey. And then I felt that that is something I went above and beyond my level to make the same. And it actually turned out pretty well. So that was my first option always. Second project is something that I made during my Barclays internship. And that was on a very big scale. Like, as you all know that banks are having very rich customers who actually own a yacht and all. So this was something I used to work in the finance PV, like basically that department, I was a software engineer, but the department was very related to finance. So there everything was used to deal with a lot of money sort of stuff. So yeah, that I think was the again a very impactful project. The last one I've made during hackathon, which was conducted at IIT Bombay, and that was related to women security. So that is something I felt that it was also very impactful. Though that's how I chose in between projects. And apart from that, skills you anyways have to mention, your job details you have to mention. So that's how you can like figure out information what is actually important. So now let's check the ATS score of my resume, and then we can one by one check yours also. So let me share this link. So I'll just I'm not sure if I uploaded the correct resume. Yeah, so this one is the resume. So I'll send this link in the chat box also. Can you please tell like what score are you getting? Do I need to no, no, you don't need to upload anything. So for example, from here you just need to click on this download and then you'll be able to download it. It is very simple, it is free, so you can use it. Another one is Novo Resume. So you can also use this. I'll share all the links at last in one go. So you rest assured about it. So you can, this is very easy to make resume maker. You can just go on resume template and then you can select any template and fill in the information. That is very easy to go. That's why I'm not explaining much about Novo Resume. So yeah, I hope you all are having a good idea about this one, Overleaf Resume. So, guys, everyone, quickly in the chat box, please mention your ATS score, and then we'll talk about like how ATS is very important part. 75. Okay, so Indran Lily is having 75 score. Other people, Hitesh is having 85. Nice. 89. Nice. So Piyush is having 89 score, highest among everyone till now. Justin is having 73. 85 is the score which Disha got. Srikar is having 81. Shashank is having 90. Vamsi is having 82. Very, very nice scores you guys are having. So my score was actually 100. I removed one part and I'll tell you what exactly I removed just to show that if you remove something, even that if that was a little part, then also you can get a less score. So I always show this example just to know, just to let everyone know that even a small removal from resume can create a great score loss, but little things add up and create a great score. So let me show you what exactly was it. So here you can see that my resume is saying that it is ATS compliant. The file type is PDF. You should never be having your resume in Word format. It should always be PDF. The file size is obviously less if it is of a single page, and word count is like something which should be like around 500. You should information like you should not be having at least blank spaces, right? Now, as we discussed about all of this stuff, for example, phone number should be there, email address, LinkedIn, education, work history, skills, dates. So we have discussed about all of these things and these should be there. Apart from this, we have discussed about measurable achievements in our jobs and our projects. So that is something which should be there. You should be having soft skills also. So initially I was having time management, leadership, etc. soft skills in my resume, but I removed it just to show you guys that even if you remove a small part like soft skills, then it increases like that, then it decreases your score drastically. Initially my score was 100, but as soon as I removed the soft skill part, it came down to 93. So that is how very small things also matters a lot. So I mentioned the hard skills, which are actually your skills, uh, which you implement in your day-to-day job. And yeah, that's it. So as we saw all the parameters which are very important while ATS score creation. So initially, when I was a fresher, I used to get rejection. So then I actually improved my projects. I am actually now catering my resume differently for different job roles. For example, if I'm applying for a front end profile, then I mention front end projects. If I apply for a back end profile, then I mention mostly back end project. So that is how I alter my resume to actually cater to the job description and to the job role. And that is how you can do it too. There's a website which actually gives customized score. So yeah, I'll just search and like mention in the chat box. In the meantime, is anyone facing any issue while making resume in this latex format? If anyone, then please write that in the chat box. Is if anyone is facing any issue, then please write that in the chat box. If not, then we can move on to the other part. So recently, let me tell you the impact of Gen AI in the industry. So a lot of companies are now focusing on Gen AI stuff because that is the need of an hour. LLMs and everything, ChatGPT and Gemini, Claude AI, that are very, very crucial part of our lives now, being it a student or a working professional. So we always strive for something which can be done automatically. For example, if I look for something like if I want an essay on something, then I firstly always go to ChatGPT, right? And most of you always do the same. So recently, my company conducted a hackathon which was related to the travel industry. So as you all know, that Flipkart has now entered into travel industry as well, and I mostly work with that sector only. So in that, we were having a Flipkart hackathon and then we won it. So I'll just tell you about a little bit about the projects which we have made. So the project was related to like generation of a hotel itinerary package according to, for example, if you want to go to somewhere, for example, if I plan a trip to Goa, and then what Flipkart has made, for example, if you just go to the packages section inside Flipkart, inside ClearTrip, then you can just mention the dates in which you are looking for. You can mention your place to go, and then it will actually generate an itinerary for you. That first day you can go here, you can eat this, you can do this activity. So that is something which was Gen AI based, and this was one of the part of our project which we have made. So yeah, a lot of Microsoft is doing great work again in Gen AI stuff. And when I used to work at Barclays, just give me a minute. So yeah, when I used to work at Barclays, then there also Gen AI was used. For example, if you are doing a transaction. So as I told that it used to deal with a very big clients. So for example, if some transaction happened, then they used to detect it by Gen AI firstly, that if it is fraudulent or not. And if we talk about any bank, then they are using it. So if we detect that a transaction is fraudulent with the help of AI, because we cannot like human cannot intervene in in each and every transaction which is happening, right? And money is again very important. So that is how firstly it is checked by Gen AI that if the transaction seems to be fraudulent, it is measured on a lot of parameters. If it seems to be fraudulent, then a manual intervention is needed. So that's how, see, Gen AI has reduced a lot of human work, a lot of manual work which was actually happened in past. And that is how we can make similar projects and mention in the resume. Some of the examples of good AI based projects are fraudulent detector only, and itinerary generator is one of them. And similarly, you can find a lot of them. You are just a Google search away by just typing your uh, tech stack in which you want to work on and the field you want to work in. So yeah, and you can also make some projects which are coming in your mind. But I've just given you examples like how Gen AI is used nowadays. Now let me give you some examples about some good and the bad resumes. So there are various parameters which are there in the resume. So let me talk about some of them. That what should not be there in a resume. So first thing, that spelling mistakes should not be there in a resume. That is a perfect no. Because if you are having spelling mistake in a resume, then that is a fundamental wrong thing itself. You should not be adding a lot of graphic designing, because if we belong to the technical sector, then our resume should be technical and not related to like graphic designing stuff. You should not mention stuff which is actually not very much related to, I would say, the job actually. I'll just look into the questions after it. You should not be putting bad font in your resume. Whatever font is given in usually the resume templates, use only that. You should not be writing autobiographies about yourself. Just give a brief idea about yourself and that's it. You should be more vocal about your skills and not about yourself. You should not be writing buzzwords, for example, cryptocurrency and everything, because uh, that is something like buzzwords can be related to any field. Just make a simple, plain piece of like just be having a simple, plain information and not the buzzwords, because that doesn't create a very good impact. You should not be having formatting issues in your resume, and you should not be exaggerating stuff, because if you exaggerate it, then interviewer will grill you on those skills. And you should not be oversharing about yourself. For example, you should not be writing that I'm also a yoga instructor or something. So that is also a no. So these are the main stuff which should not be done in a resume. Now let me show you how how you should be customizing your resume. So as we discussed that if you're applying for a front-end job, then you should be having front-end projects. If you're applying for a back-end job, you should be having back-end projects. Also, you should be having skills for that, because if you do not know back-end, you are just copying and pasting the resume from somewhere, then that doesn't help. The skills should be there at least. That is the least requirement. Iterate your resume for different job requirements. And ATS, as we discussed, that it is applicant tracking system. A lot of people apply for a job, only few get through. Then the main intervention is ATS that comes in between. So what are the do's? So ensure that your resume is of a single page. Add your LinkedIn, GitHub code forces. Show your resume at last to 3 to 4 people so that they can give you an idea about how your resume should be. Your resume should be a good mix of content. You should, as we discussed, that you should not mention buzzwords like expert, cryptocurrency, etc., which are not related to job. But you should mention the buzzwords, the small buzzwords like scalable, innovative. Now, how to make a difference between these two? That firstly, you are saying do not add buzzwords, then you are saying add the buzzwords. So there's a difference between both of them. So if you are writing that if you have done something innovative, you have made a scalable project, then that is definitely different if you are writing like if you are a cryptocurrency expert. So that is the difference between both the buzzwords which you should add and which you should not add. And ensure that your resume is uncluttered. Put the relevant industry experience and do not make it spammy. Yeah, that's it. Those are the do's. Put like not more than 4 or 5 projects, that are more than enough. Ensure that putting CGPA, like if you put CGPA, if it is above 7, and always prefer PDF formats and not Word formats. Yeah, that was mostly it from my end, I guess. I'll just share all the links once and I'll now answer your questions. Let me share the links. Just give me a minute.